Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Birthright here as we work our way to the end of the Taelshore domains. Now, something interesting and unique to this particular expansion is the fact that, at least for this area, we get, aside from the political domains, then the guilds, temples, etc., we also have the Taelshore tribes, which is, again, not truly a political domain in that sense that we are used to seeing, but given the sort of the contrast between the sort of more civilized Rurik and then the more nomadic folks, we have these different tribes here too, which presents another interesting way of approaching and playing a campaign in the setting. So there's three tribes mentioned. We have first the Firlaf, which they're winter province, so they're in Ruvik, but the winter province is in Sjarkhöle, and the summer in Höskal. Chief or chiefess here, Lina, who's a level 9 ranger, lawful good, and a solid bloodline. So they are a surprisingly non-violent and tolerant tribe who dwell in the forests of northern Ruvik. Deep and sincere in their worship of Eric, they are proud that they've never started a feud or war, although they've defended themselves fiercely when attacked. The bandit chieftains of Ruvik have often troubled them, and though they've always preferred peaceful retreat to open conflict, they have several times been brought to bay and forced to fight, which they've done with skill and honor, frustrating the brigand forces of Ruvik. Today, Najral, a somewhat honorable man, leaves them in peace and does his best to defend them from neighboring warlords who wish to plunder their lands, steal their possessions, and, in the case of some of the more unscrupulous jarls out there, sell their people into slavery. They are ruled by Chiefess Lina, a ranger with close ties to the Druids. Her friendship with the various mysterious priests and priestesses who inhabit the region has aided her people considerably, helping them to elude pursuit and attack and assisting in the setup of ambushes and counterattacks. So represents a nice little tribe here. If you're looking for something that is considered good, aligned, then this is a perfect one to test out for you. And again, anybody who's maybe in a campaign also a follower of the Oaken Grove of Eric, plenty of intersection there and possibilities to have a tribe composed of just regular warrior type folks, but also some priests and druids and stuff as well, and presents an interesting set of immediate conflicts for you to deal with there, and just seeing how a campaign can develop around that. So moving on, we have the Rekar, so Stjordvik and Bloodskull Barony as their territory, Lufkirdik in the winter, and Angar in the summer. Interesting that they are partially in the Bloodskull Barony. Chieftain here is another super high-level character, level 11 fighter here, Kjalnar, got it good with a bloodline. So they summer in the hills of the northern Stjordvik area, then migrate, ironically, into a more dangerous area in the Bloodskull Barony for the winter. The harsh conditions keep them safe from raiders for the most part. The Orogs generally just kind of pack it up for the winter and stay underground. But nonetheless, there's other dangerous creatures out there. So a lot of other creatures driven from other lands dwell in those forests. Everything from winter wolves, trolls, Foimoirians, and others, some of which roam abroad, even in snow and ice. Their chief, so should you want to take on this character, Kjalnar, is a near legendary hunter and tracker who often enjoys departing the tribe's winter quarters to hunt down marauding monsters. His single-handed defeat of a powerful Foimoirian lives in stories told by the Rekar as well as other tribes in the region. Proud and independent, they shun the company of outsiders, so makes for some interesting potential role-playing there in the sense of being forced to interact with outsiders at some point. And they totally reject the authority of both the Scarlet Baron and the King of Stjordvik. They grudgingly reward those who aid them, but are far too proud to ask for assistance, even in the most dire of need. It's far better, Kjalnar claims, to die bravely and join Eric than to live as cowards and beggars. So again, we have some interesting role-playing possibilities there and some conflict already. So, at some point, will that attitude change in the face of necessity, or are they just kind of single-handedly be determined to maybe get wiped out given certain circumstances? So a lot of possibilities there. Unfortunately for the Rekar, such attitudes may well lead to their destruction, for the Bloodskull Orogs, again, very real threat, are aware of their presence and are determined to wipe them out. So maybe push comes to shove at some point, and they do have to actually partner up with somebody else, maybe some plucky young adventurers who want to come to their aid or will help. But if you're running this as a tribe and like the leader of the tribe, that's just a pure badass fighter there. Doesn't really give us any gear descriptions for any of these, but easy for the DM to fill in for someone of that stature. Probably shouldn't be too magic heavy, but just just a pure badass fighter. Finally, the last tribe here, the Thajar or Thayar. They're in Svinnik, in Bergvass in the winter, and Innsmark in the summer. Their chief, Lars Bodenson. Oh my lord, another super high level fighter here, level 13 fighter. Again, some of these high level characters and these expansions are just mind boggling sometimes, but pretty cool stuff nonetheless. But a lot of the more, I'd say, major players in like the Antiwarian setting are not nearly of these levels. So, but that just is what makes these guys so different, unique, and really just cool in that sense. There's just a lot of like highly skilled players, or highly, I shouldn't say players, highly skilled characters out there that you'd either have to deal with or, in this case, maybe take on as a player. So a level 13 fighter, also a bloodline chaotic neutral, so interesting alignment there. A peaceful retiring tribe, desiring little contact with the outside world, and until recently none. They are said to be especially wise in the ways of the forests. Their elders are rumored to speak the ancient language of ravens and eagles. And again, can play that up a little bit, especially with the other worshippers of Eric and everything like that. In the past several years, outsiders have been venturing into the deep Bergvass forests, the winter home of the Thajar, and in response to rumors of a lost dragon's hoard, which is always going to draw adventurers, said to be hidden there. Many of these adventurers are foreigners, primarily Anwirans and Brechts, both of whom they hold in deep contempt. Confrontations between travelers and the tribesmen have been escalating, and no one knows where such matters will lead. So if you're taking on that tribe as far as playing them, it's maybe that desire to keep the outsiders out and keep your tribe somewhat insular, but maybe there's other things acting upon you. So again, could be agents of the White Witch, the Blood Skull, Orogs, etc., other dangerous monsters. Maybe those dragon rumors are more than just rumors. Again, dragons are a super rarity in the Birthright setting, but could be all kinds of things, right? Could be other rumors spreading. So just an interesting, set of ideas to get started with on like one of these tribes. The neat thing with these two, as far as maybe taking on these tribes and sort of running them as a campaign, you don't really have like a true physical domain, but just you have this, your tribal territories and stuff like that. But so it makes just like upkeep and maintenance far simpler than running an actual domain and doing all the usual work with taxation, dealing with holdings, all those other things. So you can almost create like a more simplified version of the Birthright rules as far as running territories, and just throw in some things still, but then have, I would say like keeping things like the random event table for the chieftain to deal with. That'd be something fun, but maybe you can customize it a little bit more for what these tribes would typically deal with. So you can kind of reinvent the random encounter table for the tribes. But that gives you a quick look at these 3 Taelshore tribes. Interesting to come across if you're adventuring in the areas, and also depending on where your adventures are from. Interesting to develop a campaign as one of these tribal leaders, or maybe an up-and-coming member or members of the tribe. But also if you're running any of the political domains that are in their territories, right? How do you deal with these guys in those territories, and how do you make use of them and ideally not come into conflict or antagonize them? So there's a couple ideas there, guys. Hit us up in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll have more Birthright for you soon. Thanks for watching.